Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's we'll be reviewing the Kia Telluride SX. You can now get this with a bench seat, which is really cool. Before we get in this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Jerry Center Kia here in Salt Lake for giving me some time with this Telluride. I'll include a link to the website in the description down below. If you have any questions, need any help, just ask for Brian. Also include a link to my car buying guide. Let's get into it. Under the hood, we have a 3.8-liter V6 that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 18 around town and then 23 on the highway, with power outputs being 291 horsepower and then 262 pound-feet of torque. Now, before we move forward with this review, I do want to mention if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. Now, one of the cool things about the Telluride is the boxy design. I mean, look at the hood, for example, and then the headlight design as well. And then this one has a lot of kind of like brush trim throughout, so it kind of has that fancier luxury car appearance. Now, our turn wheel setup is 245 by 50 by 20 in the front and over in the rear. And you can see here with the wheels, you got the silver on the outside and then the black in the center, and then it is unpainted here all along the side, which is kind of interesting. But regardless, if we take a few steps back, I don't know why it automatically locked. That was kind of weird. This is where, again, you can see the boxes. I mean, it is kind of like curved there in the back a little bit, but boxy overall. And then this leads us to the key fob here. You got the Kia logo. We have our lock and unlock function. We got the opening for the hatch as well. Remote start there on the other side. And popping into the rear, the Telluride's not massive behind the third row, but it's got some storage space back here. Got more underneath as well. And then you can see here with the second row, that folding down, so it's automatic. The third row itself is manual for the fold function, so you basically just pull this strap and throw that forward, and pretty straightforward. The third row also has some cup holders, which is pretty nice. USB port as well. And then legroom back there is actually pretty good for this segment overall. So you could fit adults back there, but again, I would reserve it for kids as always because third rows are just tight in this segment. Headroom with the box design is pretty good. Anyways, so yeah. Now taking a look at the taillights, you can see how they all curve down. You got the 4X badge, I like the double exhaust tips there at the bottom. But other than that, it's the rest of the rear. Now this leads us inside where we've got a bunch of soft touch trim here at the top. Got these sunshades. You can see the wood trim down below. I like all the stitching and everything. And then here are the seats. And really nice trim all throughout. And look at this bench seat. Usually they only had this, well, before they only had this for the base model, but now you can get it loaded up on like this and still have the bench, which is great. Legroom's good. Got a little storage pocket here. A little hook, it's cool. We've got some cup holders there. A charging port down below. You got a USB on the back of the seat as well. And then the back passengers do get their own sunroof, which is nice. Creates a little bit more light here. And then we do have vents along the top. And then popping up front, we've got all of the soft touch here. You can see the wood trim down below. All of our window controls here, mirror adjustments. We've got our memory seat function, blind spot monitoring with the mirrors. And then, let's see, with all the perforated trim down the center. All of our adjustments there on the side. Hill descent control, and then you can see the stability control and all that. Steering wheel is manually adjustable, and then you got more of that wood trim there, and then soft touch in the dash. Now taking a look at the steering wheel, you can see soft touch all around. The stitching around the airbag cover is pretty cool. But yeah, very kind of like Land Rover-esque steering wheel design. A bunch of practical controls here on the front, including for our adaptive cruise control, the lane centering, volume and voice command controls. We've got our stocks here on the back too. And then, yeah, digital gauge cluster, which is nice. You can press the pages button to see different bits of info on the car. And then the drive modes will also pop up here. Got a fun little animation with the drive modes, so that's another nice feature. 360 camera system with this as well, so that's another great feature to have. And then as for the infotainment system, it's quick to respond. It's easy to use overall. I've got the passenger talk, which is always a nice feature to be able to reach the rear kids verbally, right? But other than that, we've got nice trim all around this area, including on the dash, which is all soft touch. You can see how this trim all connects with the vents. Now, down below we've got our dual zone climate, and then you can see with the heated steering wheel function there, and we've got heated and cooled seats below that. And then if I move the shifter out of the way, apparently I don't have the there we go. We got more storage underneath, and it's like our charging area as well. Maybe it's not me, it's kind of sticky. So, it wasn't just me, not crazy. Shifter for the 8-speed, we got some cup holders here, drive mode select with a center locker. That just makes it so the split is more even front to rear. Parking sensors, you got auto stop start, auto hold, parking brake, camera button. And then good storage inside. Nice soft touch here with this, and then glove box. It's lined with felt, which is nice. And then we do have another center up front, it's just a traditional. And then they actually have a kind of like softer cloth headliner. So 2025 Telluride SX V6, 49,510, so it's less than 50 grand too. And see how it performs. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off. Visibility of the hood, both mirrors do a blind spot monitoring throughout the rest of the rear. And let us set off in the Telluride. I know a lot of people have been wanting this. That's why Kia brought it out. It's basically, because before you had to get the lower end packages if you wanted to get the bench seat, because they just put captain chairs in all the higher end ones. So being able to get all the cool features and have the bench seat, I think it's actually going to do really well, because there's a lot of people that's what they want. They don't really care about having the fancy looks of the X line or the X Pro, but they do care about the features, right, of the Prestige versions, where they like the heated and cooled seats, they like the 360 camera, they like the sunroofs and all of that. So it's a nice middle ground, and this might actually be the best Telluride package to get because of what it offers with options, and on top of what it offers with options, the price point that it's at. Again, sub 50 grand. It's not mid 50s, where that's where the higher end packages are at this point. It's crazy with the, well, car prices have finally kind of just stabilized, they aren't going up anymore, but still it's crazy how expensive cars have gotten over the years. So I will say initially, you know, driving it smooth. It's a smooth experience with the 8-speed. The suspension's pretty comfortable. The V6 is nice. And the more I review cars, the more I lean back into these naturally aspirated engines, because I've driven enough of the turbo engines to realize that they're nice in small cars, but in bigger cars, they're really not great unless they have some sort of hybrid assist. You know, I think like the new Toyota product, where, for example, if you get a new Grand Highlander, which is kind of a competitor of this, the regular non-hybrid Grand Highlander kind of sucks with the acceleration. It's not horrible, but it's like not all that great. But then that engine with the hybrid is really good. So it seems that's like one of the trends, I guess, is what I'll say. One of the trends that I've noticed. But yeah, anyways, ride quality, it's nice. This drives pretty darn well. And interiors, the interior on these Tellurides is solid. Like, it feels well built. This is sad to say, but it seems like Kia and Hyundai are doing what Toyota was doing like 10 years ago, where they're just building solid cars. Yeah, modern Toyotas are kind of very tin can like, whereas the Kias, I mean, close the door, solid. And the materials feel nice and everything feels tight. Still confuses me, still baffles me why Toyota gave up on that. Because I mean, it's weird. It's like automakers will do something to make themselves popular, and then as soon as they get popular, they stop doing the thing that made them popular. It's like, why? Oh, and we all know why. It comes down to money. Turn signal camera is a pretty cool feature. So overall, the Telluride's it's a nice car. Again, you feel like you're in a luxury car. You have a lot of luxury car features, 3-row SUV practical. Like, this is a great family car, and you don't really, I don't know, there's nothing that you can see in the prices. In today's market, it's pretty reasonable, right? Emphasis on today's market, right? Because, you know, a few years ago this would have been pretty crazy price-wise, but yeah, nowadays with everything being $1 million, this ain't bad. And the V6 is great. Smooth powertrain with the 8-speed. Let's make naturally aspirated engines great again, right?